Okay, hello and welcome. Just going to go ahead and get started here and get everything set up for everybody. So this is being recorded. Well, no, we're not being recorded, are we? Now we're being recorded. Okay. So we should be live on Facebook. I'm checking that right now. I know I'm live on YouTube and I am live on Zoom. So we will hang tight here for just a few minutes and then we will get started. So as soon as I can look at the Facebook page here, we should be live on Facebook. Here we go. Here we go. And it doesn't look like it's go live to start the event. Interesting. I thought, well, it says StreamYard saying that we're live, but I don't know. Interesting. Okay, so there's on Facebook. Go live. And then here we go. All right, so I guess there's something going on with StreamYard here because it did not allow or didn't start the Facebook part here for StreamYard. So I'm not sure what was going on with that. I will have to definitely look into that and see what's going on. All right, so now I am live here on Facebook. Hi, this is Facebook, and hello, this is StreamYard, and this is Zoom and YouTube. Okay, so those are working here, and that's pretty cool. So now what we're going to do is wait just a couple moments, and hopefully folks will start joining online here just shortly, and then we will get into the content of our workshop today. And I'm very excited to be able to do this workshop today. I've been looking forward to this for quite some time and pretty excited about it. So wonder how, well, I'm going to have to contact StreamYard support. I see the green check mark for Facebook and it says that I'm live on Facebook. Maybe I'm live twice on Facebook. I don't know, because when I went to the link there in Facebook, it didn't say that I was live. So we shall see. We shall see, shan't we? Okay. And if you're joining early, thank you for joining. Appreciate it. My wingtips are flying out here. That's pretty cool. All right. So as we get started, I will go through the process of identifying the structure of tonight's class and what we're going to talk about. And I encourage everybody's participation. So hang tight here for just a couple more minutes. At the top of the hour, 7 o'clock, we will officially get started. In the meantime, we are just waiting for others to join in here and join the crowd. Welcome to those who are already present. Thank you for being here. So, and go from there. Okay. So let's see here. I think I have all the documents that I need. Okay. Pretty sure. Yeah. Okay. And we are at 7 o'clock. So officially, welcome. Hello to Facebook, hello to Zoom, hello to YouTube, and through StreamYard. Welcome. My name is Robert Quebeca, and I am the President CEO of the Coach's Helper. And I am also the moderator for the Meetup group called Startups Breaking Barriers and Getting Things Done. And we have about 2,600 members in this Startups Breaking Barriers, Getting Things Done. And as a moderator of this group since the beginning of this year, we've had several meetup groups, which have gone pretty well, all focused around, people starting a business, wanting to start a business, wanting to manage and run their business a little bit better. And so in that regard, I put together this masterclass workshop series that's going to run for at least 10 weeks, every Wednesday, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to go through every aspect of starting a business, growing the business, building and sustaining and managing a successful, profitable business, all the way from idea validation, which is what tonight is about. Next week, we have another event doing business plans and going through the structure of basic, simple, powerful business plans so you can get clear about your goals, your dreams, your products, your services, how much you charge, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll be doing that next Wednesday. And then the following Wednesday, we'll be looking at budgets and finances and financial charts and cash flow statements and profit loss statements, things like that, what you need to get going, where to get financial resources from, et cetera. Then there are several more workshops coming along after that. So I'm hoping that this workshop series will be beneficial to all of you who attend. And I appreciate you being here very much. I'm going to, I think I can share this on Zoom here real quick. Let me just share one screen on Zoom, and then I'll share it on StreamYard, and that should pop over to Facebook as well. So on Zoom here, you can see the Meetup group, startups, breaking barriers and getting it done. Again, we've got over 2,600 members, and there are several, like I mentioned, meetups planned for this group. So please, if you're not a member of this Meetup group, I really highly recommend you join it. A lot of great people here and a lot of great meetups happening as well. Most of them are virtual. I am in Portland, Maine, by the way, and I get to New York City, Boston, Philadelphia on occasion, New York City more frequently than others. So I look forward to being able to host live events both in Portland and in New York City as opportunity provides. Okay. So here on Zoom, I am showing the Startups Breaking Barriers and Getting It Done Meetup group. Please do a search for it. And now I believe I can share it inside of StreamYard here. And yes, I can. Here it is. And there we go. So hopefully this is showing up both on YouTube, welcome, and on Facebook, welcome. And you can see what's going on here. So again, please join the Startups Breaking Barriers and Getting It Done Meetup group so that you can stay in touch about what's happening. Okay, so I'll stop sharing that screen there for the time being. And I have other screens that I'll definitely be sharing here just shortly. So do stay tuned. Okay, so we're going to go through a lot of material tonight. So I am an executive coach, business coach. I also run 12 other businesses. I have about 10 or 11 different websites that are up and about, including my coaching business for the Coach's Helper, my personal website, IT Search Training, Being of Heart, the Chocolate Chef, chocolatier, pastry chef as well, published author, musician, artist. You can see some of my work in the background here, et cetera. So anyhow, I have a large online presence, which I've worked hard to create, and looking forward to continue growing that. My intention for doing this workshop series is to literally convey my 30-some years of knowledge as an entrepreneur, business owner, and all the experience that I've had over the decades working on significantly large projects, including building data centers and security operations centers for federal government, hospitals, financial institutions, et cetera. So I have quite the breadth and depth of knowledge and experience in many different fields. And hopefully that can serve some of you who have a business idea. I get business ideas all the time, and sometimes I just put them to the side. It's like, oh, Robert, that's just kind of silly. Forget about that. And I have to be very careful when I do that, because if I'm dismissive to myself, then I could be dismissing a really great idea. And I don't want to be dismissive to myself. And I recommend that you pay attention to that as well, because if we are going to dismiss ideas, then my psyche is going to stop generating those ideas for me to consider and to think about, right? So I want to honor and respect any idea that shows up and give it attention and go through the process of validation and identifying whether or not this business is actually, has the potential of being a successful business, if it's actually going to generate profit, if it is going to be sustainable, if it's going to deliver an effective product or service. Okay. So having said that, this is what this first meetup, this first presentation of the Masterclass Business Workshop Series is about. All right. It's about identifying your business idea and validating it, determining whether or not it has real potential, and determining whether or not you really want to spend your time and energy and resources in building it and growing it, sustaining it. Okay. So that's what we're going to start to discuss. All right. So I wanted to give us about, 5 to 10 minute introduction. And I think that's a good place to stop there in terms of the introduction and get right into the materials here. So I do have some handouts. So if you went to the Meetup group link or the Facebook link, you should have the download for the file that we're going to use tonight. I'm going to go ahead and share it on Zoom here first. And then I believe I can share it here on no, that's Adobe Acrobat Home. Where are you hiding? Oh, because that's Chrome tabs. I want to look at a window. Here it is. Okay. So I'm navigating several screens at the moment. Okay. So I believe you should all now be able to see the worksheet that we're going to be going through. This is a fillable worksheet, so you'll be able to click in it and, type in your responses, et cetera, et cetera. So that's really helpful so that you can take notes really easy. Okay, so I'm sharing this. I can't share it on Facebook because I'm on my iPad on the Facebook, but on my Mac, I am here in YouTube, Zoom, and StreamYard rather. So, okay. So in this worksheet, we're going to go through all these questions here, identifying some of the most important things and how to validate your idea. What are some barriers to a successful idea? What's the difference between a great pitch and a bad pitch? And then we're going to go through the exercise of letting you take the time to create your elevator pitch. What do we say? How do we say it? How do we identify what those key words are to express clearly, succinctly, in a very short space, like 2 sentences, what our business idea is. And then naysayers, what to say to them, how to address them respectfully, and yes, support ourselves authentically. So really important there. And then what actions and words can we use towards ourselves to support ourselves? And then we'll give access to other resources here as well as we go through this. Okay. So if there are folks that are joining in, signing in, welcome. The way that I have my screen set up right now, I'm not able to really see that clearly, unfortunately. But that's all good. Okay. So let me just pull up one more document here, and it should pop open real quick, and then drag it over here. And voila, here we go. Okay. And that was not the document that I wanted. Aha. Where is it? Oh, where are you? Okay, there we go. Okay. So Transforming Your Business Workshop Series, idea validation, and elevator pitch. All right. So having a great business idea is fantastic, and I highly recommend, allowing yourself the opportunity to create as many different business ideas as you choose until you find the one that you really want to hold on to, that you really want to invest your time and energy into. Okay. And for many entrepreneurs, it actually can be difficult for some of us because we might get 1 or 2 or 10 business ideas in any given day. And what do we do about that? How do we handle that? Okay. I know that there are some coaches and what have you that will encourage their clients every day to intentionally come up with 10 to 15 new business ideas every single day, and without judgment. Okay. So the most important thing is to alleviate judgment around your idea, alleviate criticism around your idea. All right. Because if we convince ourselves that we're going to fail before we even start, or that the business idea is going to fail before we even start, why bother? Right? So we just kind of give up before we even get the chance to start. How many of us have done that in the past? I have more times than I can count on 10 fingers and 10 toes. I will be my own worst naysayer sometimes. Oh, well, that's just not a great idea, Robert. That's a silly idea, Robert. Who's going to want that? Whatever the case might be. So giving myself permission, I think there might be a emergency vehicle going by here in just a minute, so it might get loud. Identifying and allowing yourself to have as many business ideas as you want is really important. If you think that you've got a business idea, but you're not sure how good it is, allow yourself to come up with new ideas based around it. Okay. So, and that's going to help you form and shape and get clear about your idea. We'll talk more about that. The most important thing about your idea is to respect it. All right. We want to respect it. Right. We don't want to judge it. We don't want to criticize it. We want to respect it. And I think another aspect of that is to allow ourselves separation of our identity from the idea itself. Many business owners will make the mistake of being like, oh, I am a printer, or I am a yoga teacher. Well, that is what we do. That is how we generate our money, but that is not who we are. All right. That is what we do because of who we are. And it's important to have that separation because that gives us the freedom to be analytical, to be clear, to ask really hard questions, to make really difficult financial decisions sometimes. But most importantly, it gives us the ability to fully support ourselves in every single way. Okay. So that's what is really important about that. Allow yourself to respect it and give yourself that freedom of separation between your identity and between your business. Okay. I have made chocolate. I have been a pastry chef. I have owned a restaurant. I have owned a chocolate shop, for example. I can easily say, well, I am a chocolatier. I am a pastry chef. I am a restaurateur. I am a retail business owner, and yes, they're all true, but they are not really who I am as a human being, as a person. Who I am as a person has evolved over the years, and that has allowed me to do all these wonderful, wonderful things that I've really enjoyed, and so have so many other people. So give yourself the freedom to do that. So how do you know your idea is worth your time, energy, and money? Okay, well, feeling good about it is a number one thing. So you can feel good about it. So feeling good about it, I'm typing the notes in here for those of you on Facebook who may not be able to see this. Feeling good about the idea, number one. All right. So, and then how do we take it from there? So just because we feel good about an idea, does that necessarily mean that it's a good idea? It sounds good in our head. Have we verbalized it to ourselves? The best way to verbalize it to ourselves is to take it on a phone, and just talk it out loud. Play it back to yourself. Play it back to yourself. All right. And watch what happens. And you're like, is that really what I meant? Is that really what I think? And then that gives you the ability to shift and modify your idea. It gets you to hone in that idea with greater clarity, greater purpose, greater intention. And that's really one of the most important things, right? But if you don't have that spark that goes along with that idea, and what I mean by spark, this internal energy that seems like it's everlasting, you may not have the energy to see it all the way through. Doesn't mean you don't get me wrong. Out of my own experience, motivation can take me so far, but we need something stronger, something deeper than motivation. All right. And that motivation comes from, or that spark really does come from deep inside us. We just get fired up by something and it just lights us up. We're like, you know what? I just have to do this. And it might seem beyond logic. It might seem even beyond reason. It might seem even beyond practicality. 99% of the things that we see around us are a result of, someone doing what was once considered impossible. All right. So we want to make sure that we don't stop ourselves before we even get the opportunity to start. All right. So give yourself the chance to start. So how will you know? You're going to feel good about it. You're going to talk about it out loud. You're going to hear yourself talk it back to you. What does your voice sound like? Then you're going to talk about it with somebody else that you trust, who will support you no matter what you do, and not to get their feedback to say, hey, yes, that's a good idea. No, that's not a good idea, but to ask you questions about it. How do you see your idea playing out? How do you see your idea serving other people? How do you see your idea generating revenue for yourself? How do you see your idea, 3 years from now? How do you see your idea, when things get tough? How do you see yourself walking through the difficult parts and thriving through the good parts? Okay. So asking yourself some really good questions like this is significantly important. Okay. So how do you validate your idea? Okay. Now this is where we start to get a little bit technical. All right. So you can take your idea and you can start to do some market research. Has anyone ever done this before? Okay. And if they have done it, what has been the results? Now, we want to be careful how we use this information, all right, in two ways, because we can let grandiosity take control of us and our intentions very unknowingly. So, well, it's never been done before, so I'll be the first to do it. Okay, sorry, my phone is ringing and I forgot to turn it off. Okay. So no one's ever done it before. I'm going to be the first one to do it. Okay. And what does that look like? Or 100 people have done it and they've all failed. I'm going to be the first one to succeed. Yes, you might. Okay. There's always going to be somebody first in every industry. All right. In every business niche, there's always going to be somebody first. But do you want to be the first one in your industry, in your niche? And if you're prepared to be the first one, then you're going to be prepared for a long haul, because you're going to have to build bridges. You're going to have to build roads. You're going to have to build connections, all these kinds of things, which is wonderful. It's what us entrepreneurs do, right? But if that's not something that you're up to the challenge for, maybe you can take your idea, mold it, modify it just a little bit, and bring it into another niche that already has some success to it, all right, and provide a service or product that other people are not doing, or are not doing well, or maybe are doing good, but you can do it better. All right. So market research is one thing. And then product development is the other. Do you have a prototype? All right. Do you have a prototype? Let me spell product correctly here first. Do you have a prototype? And that can be very helpful, of course, because it's going to help you have something in your hand. In my music room over here, I've got several prototypes of several products, and they're fun to create because it allows me to take an idea out of my head, and using popsicle sticks and, fuzzy wire and, hot glue and whatever, to just kind of construct something that I can look at and say, wow, is this really what I want to deliver, and get more ideas about it. So we also want to know, is this idea profitable? Can I actually make money doing this? All right. And this is, again, where we get technical. All right. Can I make money? Right. So I just kind of put that there in the box as well. Can I make money? And, well, what's money? Is it a penny? Is it a dollar? Is it a million? What does that mean to you? And this is where it's going to require a lot of sincerity on your part to identify, what money looks like to you in terms of your business. All right. How much money are you looking to make? Maybe you haven't even given that any thought. Are you looking for your business to fully support you in every way? Is it going to be the source of your livelihood? If it is, how much money do you need to live on every day, every week, every month, every year? Do you know how much it costs you to live the lifestyle that you're currently living? And if you don't know that, then you're not going to know how much money you need to make every day, every week, every month, every year from your business, to draw from your business to support you and your family. And that's a critical question, because most business owners are like, oh, well, just build it and it'll come and it's going to support me and I'm going to make all kinds of money. All right. I have fallen flat on my face a number of times because of that. All right. Because my wishful thinking and my lack of desire to make an actual plan that I can take action on, all right, got in the way. So letting, my fantastical thinking get in the way of my success is not resourceful. So what does enough money look like for me? And what kind of money can I survive on? Can I survive on, I don't know, $1,000 a month for the first 3 months of my business? Why would you want to, would be the question. The idea of a, starving business person, entrepreneur, in a beat up, falling down garage, sure, you're more likely get struck by lightning than that to happen as a success. It doesn't mean you can't, but what risks are you willing to take? How hard do you really want to make this for yourself? Starting a business does not have to be hard or difficult. Okay. It can actually be incredibly enjoyable, which is the point, right? We just love what we do. We love what we create. We love what we share with other people. We love the resources and products that help improve other people's lives. That's the point, right? And we get a charge out of that. But we don't have to suffer in the process. We don't have to. Okay. So identify how much you need, because that's going to determine, at least fundamentally, one small component of how much your business is going to need to make. So if you need to draw, let's say, for example, $5,000 a month, so $60,000 a year, you need to draw $60,000 a year net, after taxes, net, to live on. How much does that mean your business has to make in order to give you that? What's your profit margin, your markup on each product or service that you're selling, that you're making? How much does it cost you to make it? How long does it take you to make it? Will you be able to make enough? Will you be able to deliver enough? Are there enough hours in a day for you to be a coach to do that? So for example, there are a lot of people who like to be business coaches and what have you, think, oh, I'm going to be a great business coach. I'll charge $50 an hour. and I'll do 10 people a week and I'm going to make $500,000 a year. It's not going to happen. The math just does not work at all. It just doesn't work at all. So you have to find out what does work, what works. Okay. And we have a whole nother meetup session all about finances, but I needed to talk about it here because if you're not willing to spend the time to understand how much money it's going to cost you to get started, how much money it's going to cost you to open, how much money it's going to cost you during the critical early months of your business, the ups and downs and ins and outs, unexpected costs, et cetera, and how you're still going to make a living, where your income is coming from. Can you work at Starbucks for $17 an hour, 40 hours a week while you're starting a new business? Maybe, I don't know. So you want to ask yourself tough questions. So validating your idea is really about getting the market research. Has it been done? How well has it been done? All right. Who have the people, how are the people fared who have went before you? Okay. Identifying a product prototype, and then can you make money? Can you really make money doing this? Okay. So then we get to the first thing to do with your idea is to literally, write it down and recite it to yourself every day. Write it down and recite it to yourself every day. The first thing to do with your idea, because you get an idea. And the more it stays in your head, the more it morphs, the more it becomes something else, and then it becomes less of what it originally was. So you write it down on a piece of paper. My business idea is to provide outstanding, internet products. I'm sorry, I could have come up with a better, some specific example ahead of time. I did not. So, but write it down, and write it down in the affirmative, and write it down in the positive, and write it down in the successful statements. Well, I hope to. That's not a positive. All right. I am doing this. I am delivering this. I am creating this. I am providing this service. It has to be in the present. It has to be in action. It has to be something that is happening successfully. So that is how you write it out. So when we get further down in here, we'll look at creating that ourselves. Okay. So what are some barriers to a successful business idea? Well, kind of the first one is naysayers, and talking about it too much without knowing what you're talking about. Okay. I know that sounds odd. I spelled that wrong. There we go. All right, let me just grab a sip of water here if that's okay. All right. So naysayers and talking about it too much without knowing what you're talking about. So the first thing is like, oh, I got this great idea. I got this great idea. Let me tell you all about it. And you'll tell everybody you meet. If you are not prepared for negative criticism, by the end of the day, you'll be like, well, that was the stupidest thing I ever thought of. Why would I ever think of doing anything like that? And why would I ever think of doing anything like that ever again? Right? So we want to be careful how we're doing that and what kind of language we're using and how we're letting the feedback that we receive affect us. Your business idea has to be so solid in your mind that it is naysayer proof. All right. It is naysayer proof. All right. In fact, the more they talk badly about it, maybe that's going to give you more fortification. I don't know. But the point is that if you start to let what the negativity that people bring to your idea affect you, it's going to spin in your head and it's going to keep you up at night, because now it's not about the business idea. It's about getting validation from these other people who said we couldn't do it. We got to prove them wrong now. Otherwise, I lose my own credibility, and I can't let that happen. And this is normal for us business owners, for us entrepreneurs. It's normal for us to think that, but we have to be prepared for those thoughts so that we can manage them. We're not going to be able to stop them, but we can manage them. And that's what it's all about. That is the long-term game. All right. So the second barrier is unrealistic expectations. Okay. Unrealistic expectations. Well, what is an unrealistic expectation? Well, my business idea is going to earn $3 million in the first month. Might be an unrealistic expectation. It might not be, but unless you're already plugged in and connected with the billionaires, who are ready to buy your product or service, that may not be realistic. Okay. So when I say be realistic, I don't mean to diminish yourself or to reduce your expectations. I just mean to be authentic about it. Just be authentic about it. Be real about it. Entrepreneurs think big. That's what we do. We think big. We think outrageously. We think about the impossible being possible. Absolutely. Okay. Don't confuse that with setting an unrealistic expectation, expecting it to happen, and then feeling defeated when it doesn't, and then considering yourself a failure and never try to start another business again. Rewind that, play that back. Okay. Yeah. So that's a big deal. And we have to be prepared for that. No one else is going to do this for us. A lot of entrepreneurs saying, oh, we'll just get someone else to do it. I'll get someone else to do it. I'll get someone else to do it. That is different than delegating. Delegating is a very clear, precise activity. All right. With very specific results and very specific agreements between us and the people that we are delegating to. All right. So otherwise it becomes just kind of like, oh, well, it's just all going to work out. Right. And we just kind of throw our hands up there in the air and just kind of expect the best. Right. And then feel defeated when it doesn't happen and think, oh, wow, there's something wrong with my business idea. Or worse, we think there's something wrong with us. And then we start lying to ourselves about that kind of BS. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to get into that Hydra head, whatever you want to call it. All right. You chop one off and three more pop up, or whatever the case may be. All right. So we want to be able to manage that. So setting realistic expectations does not mean to not dream big. It just means, how are you interpreting that? How are you working towards that? What's your action plan to make that happen? Yes, wonderful, incredible, unexpected events can happen that catapult us closer to achieving our ideal. But that is not the rule. And waiting for that to happen may not be the best strategy. So what's your action plan? What action are you taking today? What are the things on your to-do list today that are actually walking you towards, step by step, the creation and successful launch and management of your business idea? All right. Another barrier to successful business idea is not planning. All right. Just got to throw it out there, folks. Not planning. All right. I have some business clients who absolutely positively hate to plan. And every time I bring up the idea of planning, they kind of giggle and what have you. And I don't mean that in an insulting way. Maybe that was insulting, so I'll apologize right there. But it's really important to recognize that luck is not a business strategy. Shooting from the hip, so to speak, is not a business strategy. Those are resources and tools that we can use on occasion to get us through a difficult time. But that is not a strategy. That is not a plan for success. If you do not know where you are going, if you do not have a map of how you're going to navigate your success, then how do you know what the next action is to take? How do you know where you are? How do you know when to turn right or turn left, to say yes, to say no? How do you know when to call it quits, or how do you know when to go all in? Without a plan, you're not going to have that guidance. Our next session, our next masterclass session is all about the business plan and identifying what your plan is. And your plan is a set of steps. They are results that you want to achieve, and identifying each individual action step of how you get from here to here. All right. I personally have started, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 businesses without a business plan. I can tell you I will never do that again. Every business that I have has a plan. All right, 95% if I'm being honest. All right, there's 2 that don't. All right, they're tiny side gigs. But even a side gig should have a plan. There's an outcome. There's an intended outcome. And that means that there's actions that need to happen in order for me to get that outcome. All right, so now I'm giving myself my own action item to write down a short business plan for each of those. All right, because it helps me to manage where I am. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. It's just the bottom line. Otherwise we're just managing random thoughts and random wishes and random emotions. All right, and that's our next thing. What's the barrier? Our emotions. Flat out, our emotions. Okay. So when we let our emotions run away with us, all of a sudden it's our emotions that are making decisions and not our clear intention. And don't confuse emotion for clear intention. Every emotion that you have is tied to a thought. And we know, science has proved, that we have over 65,000 different thoughts a day. And there is a feeling attached to every single one of those thoughts. Okay. And sometimes we feel the same thing. We think we feel the same thing for a long period of time. That just means we're having the same thought pattern over and over and over again. And then we feel stuck. And then we feel like we need a emotional jump start to get us out of it, or something like that. So we go and do some stupid stuff like, get messed up on drugs or drink till we pass out, or act out in some other ways that put us or other people that we love and care about in harm or jeopardy. Okay. So we want to be careful that our emotions are not in charge of running our business, not in charge of making our decisions. I'm not saying don't have emotions. That's impossible. You'd have to basically, be a literal psychopath in order for that to happen, to not care, to not have those feelings. Okay. So in regards to emotions, they're going to come up. They're going to. Some of them are going to be really strong to the negative. Some of them are going to be really strong to the positive. And it's going to be really tempting to allow those very strong emotions to strongly influence and control your decision. You had a bad day. Nothing worked out. You know what? This just isn't going to work out. I don't know why I bother. Why should I do this? Let's just call it quits. I'm just going to shut everything down, walk away, and just hang my head and see what else shows up. That's one approach. Yeah, but is that really the best approach? Is that an approach you really want to take? Is that really how you want to treat yourself or treat your business idea? No. It's a passing emotion. Every single emotion passes because every single thought passes. If you give it enough time, that intense negativity about it will pass. It will. It does. It goes. It's replaced by something else. You can influence and control how that's replaced. That's another conversation for another day. But also the flip side, there's very strong emotional positive emotions. All right, they can also influence in negative ways, because sometimes we get so positive that we get blinded. So blinded that we ignore significant, even dangerous risk, financial risk, physical risk, whatever other kinds of risks show up. So we can let the good, all right, get in the way at the best. We can let that emotion control us and allow us to make an emotional decision. Every stock investor and every real estate investor will tell you that every time they let their emotions get involved in a decision, it did not go well. Okay, so there's food for thought there. All right. So don't let your emotions be a barrier. Use your emotions. They're there for a reason. They're telling you something. They're giving you information. Ask your emotions, well, what is it you're trying to tell me? What is it you're trying to show me? You know, what can I learn from this? What can I do with this? How can I use this? Our emotions are there to serve us. So allow them to do that. Nurture them, manage them. Okay. And barriers to a successful business idea. What is the last barrier to, I don't know if it's the last barrier to a successful business idea. All right. Indifference. Indifference. Ouch. That hurts, right? Indifference. Okay. So indifference means, well, it's just going to work out, so I don't really care what happens. Yikes. That is not a good business plan. All right. Usually that means that there's some form of fear of success or failure that's got in the way of your decision-making processes, and you've let your emotions take over your decisions. All right. Indifference is an emotion. And when you're allowing indifference to control your decisions, you're allowing your emotions to control your decisions. All right. But indifference is really big. Indifference leads to procrastination. All right. I can't type that and talk at the same time. All right. So indifference leads to procrastination. All right. And procrastination is a big misnomer. I won't get into the whole thing about it or anything else like that. But suffice it to say that indifference leads to procrastination. So if you found yourself not getting something done, not getting something done, not getting something done, you know, there's some fear underlying that is leading to your indifference, to your unwillingness to commit. Right. I have one thing on my plate right now that I have, I don't know why, but for the last 3 weeks, I have been resisting it. And it has to do with marketing. I got the copy. I got the content. I got the material. All I got to do is launch it. I got the funnel. All I got to do is launch it. Oh, let me go clean the windows instead. All right. I haven't done that, but you know, pretty darn close. So the point is like, okay, when I can let that indifference get in the way, all of a sudden my goals are in jeopardy. So right now I'm 3 weeks behind my goal for that particular business, you know, or that part of that business. And well, gee, that's not good. That means I've got 1 week to make up for, you know, 3 weeks worth of lack of performance. There's no judgment here. There's no punishment here. There's no criticism here. It's just identification. It's awareness. It's clear awareness and allowing myself to kind of go through the process and recognize what's happening. All right. So I'm nurturing myself. I am honoring myself, not criticizing, not punishing, and not beating myself up for it. All right. That negative energy just does not work at all. Okay. So these are some barriers to success. If you have some other barriers to success, please put them in the chats. That would be great. So now let's talk about a pitch. What is the difference between a good pitch and a bad pitch? All right. So a good pitch. Oh, I can't write in there. Oh, I guess I didn't make that fillable. Oh, gosh darn it. Well then, and I don't have something to, I don't want to stop sharing this and start sharing something else. So note to self for the next webinar, the next meetup group, to make sure that everything is fillable. Okay. Well, you're just going to have to hear it and write it down manually instead of typing it in, and I just won't be able to show it up here. Okay. So what is the different, what are some good pitch, great pitch? First of all, it's clear. All right. It's very clear. It's stated in the positive and it's succinct. So it's clear, succinct, and it's stated in the positive. All right. When we say succinct, it means it's about 2 or 3 sentences the most. And I don't mean run-on sentences. How many times have you asked someone, hey, tell me about your business idea? And then 30 minutes later, they're still talking. All right, I might be exaggerating. But boy, they seem to have been talking a long time and you still have no idea what the hell their business idea is about. I just cursed on, whatever. So anyway, so you have no idea what the hell their business is. But you're standing there going, oh, okay, yeah, oh, wow, all right. And you couldn't be more insincere if you tried. Yeah, okay, oh, wow, okay. I have no idea what this person is saying, right? Do you want someone to respond to you that way? Oh, wow, that sounds good, Robert. Oh, yeah, okay, good, good. And then you're going to take that feedback to heart and let your emotions take over and run with it and make some really silly, well, I don't want to use judgmental words, but maybe make some decisions that are not in the best interest of your business. Okay. So think about those times. Think about times that you heard someone tell you what their business idea was. You're like, wow, that was incredible. That was just like 2 sentences and it said everything, So the business idea should talk about the benefits of your product or service. What are the benefits of your product or service and who is it serving? Who is your product or service serving? Okay. When we talk about benefits, we're not talking about features. All right. So a feature is having a window in your car that you can roll down. Okay. A feature is having a button that you can press on your car door that automatically lowers your window with one press. Those are both features. What's the benefit? Well, the benefit of the roll down one is that, well, I can get fresh air in the car, but I have to have one hand off the wheel for a long period of time while I'm rolling down the window. But the benefit is I get fresh air in the car. The benefit of the press down button is like, oh, I can just reach over real quick and in less than 2 seconds touch a button and get my hand back on the steering wheel and my window goes down automatically and I get fresh air in my car. That's a benefit. Talk about the benefits of your business. And if you don't know, write them down. Take some time, make a list of all the features of your products and services. What are the features of your product and service? And then for each of those features, what is the benefit of each one of those features? And that is what you focus on. You focus on the benefits of your product and service. This is my product, and this is what it does, and this is who it does it for, and these are the benefits. All right, these are the outcomes, and the outcomes are just like, wow, that's really great. That's really impressive. Okay. So those are some good pitch items. Some bad pitches are, probably just the opposite, right? So you have a long, drawn out pitch. It's going on for 8, 10, 15 minutes. It's vague. It's not clear. It's not succinct. There's negatives. Well, I hope it's going to be able to do this, and I hope it's going to, and it should be able to do that. Hopes and shoulds in terms of an elevator pitch are not positive statements. Well-intentioned as they are, they fall flat, and they are actually very strong negatives because any investor that hears, well, we hope that it's going to work out like this and it should achieve this. I'm not going to invest, $20,000, $50,000, $1 million in something that hopes to work or something that should work. All right. And of course, in our annals of history, that there are many times that that's happened, but how often are you willing to risk that? All right. And maybe for your first business, you're not. Maybe you are. I'm not saying not to. I'm just saying to ask yourself the question and give yourself permission to give yourself the right answer. All right. So being vague, being long-winded, being quote unquote negative, it's hopeful or should or what have you. What are some other bad pitch ideas? is that it doesn't identify a benefit. There are no benefits. It doesn't identify a specific outcome. Oh, and there's no time frame. So a good pitch is also a time frame. We hope to achieve X, Y, and Z within a certain period of time to deliver this product or service with these benefits to these people, you know, et cetera. So always toss in that little time frame there, right? So the bad pitch doesn't even have a time frame. Or maybe it does, but it's just like, oh, you know, in about 15 years, we hope to be profitable. Maybe not the best there. Okay. So here is a space for you to start writing your pitch. All right. And there may or may not be enough space here for you to do it. I don't know, but at least it's a start. You know, you only want it to be a couple sentences or something like that. Okay. You know, give yourself the time to write several of them. You know, dare I say that you could even use an AI generator to help you figure out what that is. You just plug in your keywords and maybe it'll help you come up with a 2-sentence pitch. You know, I don't know. A very short 2-sentence pitch, because some of these AI generators can, you know, run their mouth as well, don't we know? Okay. So your pitch might be tied to your vision, and it might be tied to your vision statement, and it might be tied to your mission statement. We'll talk more about that in the business planning event next week. So in the meantime, you know, take some time to write down your benefits and features. Let me reverse that. Start writing out your features of your product and or service, and then the benefits for each of those. All right. And then start writing pitch ideas for each one, maybe combining a couple of them, and see what you come up with. All right. And I'm really excited. And you feel free to share those pitches, you know, in the Facebook chat, YouTube chat, what have you. I was going to say Zoom, but that's not possible. So at any rate, you know, feel free to share those ideas. Okay. And get feedback. You know, if you want to private message it to me as well, you're welcome to private message it. And that's just fine. And naysayers, what to say? Well, the first thing that comes to mind, I'm not going to verbalize. The first thing we want to say is thank you. Thank you for caring. Thank you for caring. All right, whether you mean it or not, and even no matter what they say, thank you for caring. Thank you for caring enough about me to worry about my failure, right? Thank you for caring enough about me to prevent my success, you know, or something along that line. Okay. So you want to just be aware of that and just say thank you, because everybody means well. They just may not know how to express it in a way that aligns with you. So your job isn't to retaliate. Your job is to acknowledge. Your job is to manage your emotions so that your business can truly be a success. So thank you for caring. All right. The other thing to say for naysayers is, well, what would your idea be? You know, and this is only if you have an hour to have a conversation, because they will go on and on and on about something that they don't even have a clue about. All right. What would your idea? What would your idea be? Okay. So you could say, well, what would your idea be? If you don't think my idea is so good, how would you do it? You know, be prepared. That's all I'm saying. Be prepared. But when you turn the table like that, oh, I didn't think about it. Well, you know, and hear them talk about it. And we're not doing this to embarrass anybody. And if you're doing it to embarrass somebody, you know, that's a different story. We don't want to embarrass them. We don't want to humiliate them, because you're talking to a potential customer, honestly. You know, what else to say? You know, say, well, I've already given that consideration, you know. Already given that consideration. Okay. If they say, well, have you really thought this out? You're not going to make any money with that. You know, and if you've already done your homework at this time, which I'm assuming you have, you know, hopefully before you really started talking about this to other people, you know, if they say, well, you're not going to make any money with that, or how do you know you're going to make any money with that? You're going to say, I have a structured, vetted business plan. All right. Where are you going to get the money? Right. And I like to say, well, I was hoping you could give me 20 grand, and that is, of course, just for levity. If they whip out your checkbook, hey, you got lucky, right? But you want to say that for levity, kind of, break that state there, break that negative state, and say, I have my plan, I have my agenda, I know how much money I need, and I know where I'm getting it from. I'm getting it from this resource, and you don't have to be specific about where you're getting it from, but just let them know. It's like, well, I have a budget of $150,000, and I have 5%, 10%, 20%, 80% of that money already, whatever the case might be, so that's great. And let's see, I put 8 down here. And if you have any other ideas, just go ahead and pop. I mean, I can probably come up with a lot more, but we're running up on our time here at 8 o'clock Eastern time here. And I want to get to the resources and things like that as well. So we're going to run over here for about 5 or 10 minutes. But what else? What else could be something negative that somebody says? You'll never succeed. And you can say, well, gee, I guess I'm not going to know until I try. If I give up before I even try, how will I ever know? Right? So you're creative. I know you are. You're an entrepreneur. That's what we're built on. We're built on creativity. Right? We're built on energy, and you'll come up with the right thing to say, but be authentic. I'll put these things in here. Be authentic, and be kind. As best as possible. If someone is outrageously rude to you, you can just say, thank you, but this isn't the conversation I'm really ready to have with you. Let's catch up another day. It might take a lot of strength to say that when you get emotionally charged up by somebody, but then again, give yourself the opportunity to do it. All right. So if you have any other ideas, feel free to put them in the chat boxes as appropriate. Oh, we have one more thing, how to support yourself. Words and actions to support yourself. And again, I didn't put the fill in the blanks there. So I can. Why not? I won't know till I try. All right. What are the actions I can take? I can build a business plan. I can set goals. And when I say set goals, I'm not talking about these big, giant, ethereal, vague, massive goals. I'm talking about daily actions. What are you doing today to help you move closer to achieving your goal, starting your business, providing that product or service, all right, to your customers, all right? So the most important thing is also self-care. If you're not taking care of yourself, what are you taking care of? If you're not eating right, when are you going to get the right energy to actually do the work? The idea that you got to be go, 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 go for, 18, 19, 23 hours in a day. And I know I have been there when I had my restaurant and I was depleted. I was exhausted. I was eating crappy food, which made me feel even more exhausted and more crappy. All right. So make sure you get rest, make sure you eat, make sure you hydrate, make sure you exercise, make sure you meditate or connect with your higher self, higher being, God, whatever this is to you, making sure that you're taking care of yourself. We have to use the example of the oxygen mask on the airplane. The airline attendants will say, please put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you attempt to put it on somebody else. Why? Because if you fail in putting it on somebody else and they fail in putting it on you, you both die. If you put it on yourself first, then you have the ability to help somebody else. All right, very crass example. I don't like using it, but it delivers the point. All right. You have to take care of yourself. You have to give yourself the energy that you need to really sustain your actions all throughout your business development process. Okay. So hopefully that was helpful. Here are some resources. If you've never heard of the Habit Finder assessment, I highly recommend you go to habitfindercoach.com/deep. And this assessment is unlike any other assessment that helps business owners identify their strengths and weaknesses in terms of their thoughts and habit patterns that are either supporting or interfering with their ability to actually achieve their goals, their objectives. All right. And I'm a certified habit finder coach, and I love this. I give 1 hour complimentary debriefs. I don't sell anything. I don't care if you buy anything from me. That's not what it's about. Yes, I'm a coach, but I deliver these debriefs so you can get what you need to make the changes you need to make so you can be successful. So go to habitfindercoach.com/deep, take the assessment, schedule a debrief. SCORE. I'm a SCORE mentor. I'm not anymore. I was a SCORE mentor. I had to stop being a SCORE mentor because I had too many things going on, honestly. But I loved helping people with new business ideas. So you could go to score.org, set up an appointment with a SCORE mentor like myself, get information, get access to resources, all right, that are going to help get you to that next step of achieving your business goal. All right. These SCORE mentors are successful business people. Many of them are still active. Some of them are retired. It's an incredible free resource provided by the Small Business Administration. All right. Create a business plan. All right. Action item. Create a business plan. Start. All right. Use the resources. If you go to the link in the Meetup group, there is a link with all the different business plans and financial plans that you could possibly want. All right, so find one that works. Join the next meetup next Wednesday, 7 p.m., and we're going to talk about business plans and how to build one. Attend other workshops, other classes, and other meetups, especially the Business Masterclass Workshop Series. All right, and then build your support network. This is not a one-person job. All right, running a business doesn't have to be, the solopreneur. All right, build a support network. Go to networking events. Go to other meetups, et cetera, et cetera. Build a network. Find accountability partners, accountability buddies, whatever the case might be. Find people who believe in you as much as you believe in yourself. Find people who believe in you as much as you believe in yourself. And have fun. Otherwise, what's the point? We're doing this because we love what we do. All right? We love what we do. So go love it, go have fun, go succeed, go build, go create, go deliver, go achieve, go do all these wonderful things. And feel free to reach out to me anytime. Always happy to have a wonderful conversation and to meet new people and to see where people are in their business journey. And hopefully I'll see you here next week for part 2 of the Business Masterclass Workshop Series. All right, so thank you for being here. Appreciate your attendance, and have a fantastic week.